Hello and welcome to today's video here on the Yoga by Candace YouTube channel. I had a request to do some strengthening for the arms and upper body, and then a little bit of instruction into some basic arm balances. And since I haven't done anything like that in a really long time, I got really excited by that. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna start with some upper body activation. So let's come into all fours. Position your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Hands are about shoulder distance. Knees are about hip distance. And then you're going to curl your toes a little bit and then push the ground away. So you're feeling your upper back sort of begin to round. And then from here, keeping your arms straight, squeeze your shoulder blades together. So lower just your chest, keeping the arms straight, squeeze shoulder blades together, and now push the ground away and round your upper back. Then squeeze your shoulder blades together, lowering your chest, core strong, push the ground away. If you feel like this is enough of a challenge for you, then stay here. Alternatively, let's lift the knees about 2 inches, squeeze the shoulder blades together, keep the arms straight, push the ground away, round your back. Squeeze shoulder blades together, push the ground away, round your back. 3 more. 3, 2, and last one. If that feels like enough of a challenge for you, stay there. We're going to progress this move one more time. From here, we're going to go into a plank position if you're ready to progress it. So extend your legs back behind you, and then keeping your core strong and arms straight, squeeze the shoulder blades together, push the ground away. Keep your head in line with your spine. Here's 2. We're going to do 3 more. 3, 4, 5. Awesome. Come on down. Take a little rest. The reason why we did that is because it helps to mobilize your shoulder blades, your scapula, and that's really important for things like crow pose, which is one of the moves we'll get into. So it's for that. It's also for your core and also for your upper body stability, your arms. From here, we're going to come down into the side lying position. So you're on your forearm. Let's take this hand and put it behind the head rather than on the hip. When you do the hip, the shoulder internally rotates, which I don't want for you today. So we have some options. Option 1 is to just lift the hips up and down, keeping the knees down. Option 2 is to lift the top knee and open it up, as well as the bottom hip. So it looks like this, up and down. Right. Option 3 is to straighten the legs and lift the top leg. Well, sorry, wait, actually, straighten the legs and we'll just lift up and down. Or if you want a little bit more, you can lift this top leg as well. So find the one that works for you. And we're going to do this 15 times. Be quite a challenge. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, exhale as you come up. 3, 4, actively push the mat away. 5, 6, 7, 8, wonder if you can hear my hip clicking. 9, that's how you know you're old. 10, 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Am I okay? That hip is loud. All right, we're gonna switch sides. And we're going to 15. Here we go. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Okay, from here we're going to go into downward dog, and we're going to do some downward dog push-ups. So I'm going to show you from this way and from the side so you can just kind of see what's happening. So from head on, you're getting into a regular downward dog. And then you're going to just bend your elbows out to the side like that. And if possible, tap the top of your head down onto the ground. I'm a little nervous. I'm going to slip, so I'm going to put my feet on the mat. So just so you can see it from the front, you're going to go out to the side, and then push the ground away. Now, as you do this, you want to be sure that you're keeping the root of your index finger and the root of your thumb on the ground and really like dig into the ground. You want to almost feel like you're like gripping into it like you're a rock climber. All right, so the other thing you want to keep in mind is that you don't move your head forward or backward. You don't really move any part of your body. You maintain the integrity of that downward dog shape, because I think the tendency is for people to kind of come like forward and down. That's not what you're doing. You're just staying in your downward dog and you're tapping here, or you're going as low as you can comfortably go. And for some of you, that might be a couple inches. For others of you, it might be halfway down to the mat. And for others, you might be all the way down to the mat. So let's give it a try. Let's do 8. Here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great. So that's going to help to build some strength through the shoulders, through the lats, through the whole upper body, which of course is going to help you for your inversion practice. The next thing we're going to do is some shoulder taps in a plank position. So you're going to come into a plank position, and the trick here for this is to try to stabilize your hips. The hips will like shift ever so slightly when you're really, really dialed in, but if you're not dialed in, they'll shift quite a bit, and we want to be mindful of that. So you're going to find your way into that plank position, and then we're going to tap opposite hand to opposite shoulder. And this just helps with your shoulder stability, helps with your core, and of course helps with your upper body strength. So find your way into a plank position. And let's just check in with the integrity of the plank position. So you have a couple options. You could be on your knees, and if you're on your knees, your hips are aligned with your body, and then you're kind of pushing the ground away to find this sort of rounding sensation with your upper back. You could take your knees a little bit wider than you might normally, and then you can tap side to side. And you can feel that as you do it, the hips really want to shift. So you have to integrate your core to make sure that your hips don't shift too much. So option 1 is to be on your knees. Option 2, come into this plank position and push the ground away. Take your feet a little bit wider than you might normally take your feet, and then we're going to tap side to side. 1, tap, tap, 2, tap, tap, 3, tap, tap, 4. We're going to 8. Tap, tap, 5, tap, tap, 6, tap, tap, 7, tap, tap, 8. Great. So these are all exercises that you really want to do frequently, whenever you can remember to do them, throughout the week, multiple times, and over the course of, 6, 12, 18 weeks, you'll begin to really develop some upper body strength, which will help with your stability. Let's get into some basic inversions that will help you to continue to develop that strength. The first one we'll do is crow pose. Now for crow pose, the thing about inversions is like sometimes they also require other things. Like crow pose, you have to have some good external rotation of the hips. So let's just start in a squat, and you can come up onto your tiptoes, or if you've got that mobility, you can come down onto your heels. But wherever you are, just kind of open up those hips, press the elbows into the knees. And then from here, you're going to bring the arms out in front and really round your back. I want you to sort of reach all the way away from you. So just from the side, it's looking like you might want to be here. Let's go out in front. Think of rounding your back. Try to get your knees as high up your elbows as you can, and then squeeze your knees into your armpits or into that upper arm. So I'm squeezing as hard as I can. I'm using my adductor strength to squeeze my upper arms. And that's what's going to help you to kind of perch on top. Then from here, we're going to lift up onto the tiptoes, then lift your butt a little bit, lean forward and look out in front of you, and think about that squeezing sensation of the upper arms and lift up. Then push the ground away. I like to spread the toes. Think about rounding your back. And then when you're ready to come down, come down. We're going to do it 2 more times. So take a breath here, catch your breath, grab a sip of water. A couple points for this. With crow pose, you really want to look out in front of you rather than straight down. If you look straight down, like your spine goes where your head goes. So if you look straight down, your spine is gonna go straight down as well, and that's kind of, we don't want to face plant, right? Instead, look out in front of you as far as you can, maybe like 2 or 3 feet out in front of you, and that'll keep your spine really long and rounded rather than crunched and rounded, which might make you lose your balance. Let's come into it again. Come up onto your tiptoes, hands out in front. Hands are shoulder distance, so take them nice and wide, and then go ahead and squeeze your knees in towards your armpits. Lift your hips, look out in front of you, perch on your upper arm, and then push the ground away. Dig into the mat like you're a rock climber. Really think about rounding your back, creating a lot of space between your shoulder blades, and go ahead and come down when you're ready. That first move that we did, the scapular push-ups, where we kept the arms straight but then squeezed the shoulder blades towards one another and then rounded the back. That rounding of the back and that movement of the shoulder blades is really helpful for this particular inversion. All right, let's go back into it one last time. Let's see if we can hold it for 3 deep breaths. So lift up, lean into it, push the ground away. Find that sensation of a rounded back. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. One more breath in and out. And then come on down. There you go. That's your little crow pose practice. From here, let's come into baby grasshopper. This one is like an impressive looking inversion, but it looks much more challenging than it actually is. So don't be discouraged. Don't poo-poo it before you've tried it. All right, for this, we need to have one leg straight. Let's all be on the same side. Let's do left leg straight, right leg crosses over. Right foot is flat on the ground. Left hand is going to be in line with your hip, and then draw a diagonal line about halfway away from you towards the back of the mat. Then you're going to take your right arm, reach in front of your right shin, and grab hold of either the left shin or the left foot, depending on your level of flexibility. Once you've got it, you're going to kind of rock and roll until you come up, lifting your hip off the ground. So in order to get there, you have to push into your right heel and your left palm. Once you're up, bring your chest down. So it looks like this. Lift up and come down, bending that left elbow. And that is baby grasshopper. And then rise up. Let's try the other side. So sometimes it takes a little bit of momentum, a little swing back and forth to get there. So if you weren't able to get up, give that swing a try. Okay, right leg out in front. Cross left leg over top. Right hand down by your hip. Draw a diagonal line away from you about halfway towards the back of your mat. Take your left arm in front of your left shin. Grab hold of your right shin or the bottom of the right foot, depending on your level of flexibility. If you're grabbing the foot, I usually like to lift it up first, and then I push and get up. Okay, so wherever you are, rock and roll, backwards, forwards, push into this planted heel, lift up, and then bend at the elbow, and lower down. Baby grasshopper on the other side. So those are some fun ones. The other one we should try is baby crow pose, which is something I feel like you don't see a whole lot. It's very similar to regular crow pose, but instead of being on your wrists, you're on your forearms. I will say that for me, this particular inversion was so scary because your face is so close to the ground, and all I could think of was, I'm gonna break my nose. But it hasn't happened yet. Today could be the day though. All right, so I'm just kidding. To get into this, we're gonna come onto our forearms, but we wanna be sure that the forearms are the right width away. So what you need to do is take your hands and grab your biceps and really grab them, because sometimes in workshops I say grab your biceps and people are just like, whatever, and then you're too far away. So really grab on tight to your biceps, and then you're gonna put your elbows down on the ground and keep them there in that position. Don't change the width. Keep them down. and then take your hands out in front of the elbows. Now, if you're like me, you have some fleshy forearms. So once I'm down like this, I keep my elbows in place, but I sort of like shimmy my arms side to side to get that extra bulk out of the way. Because if I don't do that, I tend to wobble on my forearms. My forearms are like, they're meaty. So kind of pull the forearm taut against the mat, and then you won't shift and feel uneven and unstable when you come up into it. So grabbing biceps, elbows come down, forearms come down, and then do your little shimmy, shimmy. Then you're gonna come up onto your tiptoes. This is where it gets awkward. You're gonna lean into it, look forward, and then push the ground away. And my nose is like 2 inches off the ground. And then you come up out of it. Woo! That's a fun one. Let's try it one more time. So it's very similar to crow pose, but same, but different. Grabbing onto biceps, coming down, plant the forearms down, then pull yourself into position. Come up onto the tiptoes, knees high up onto the arms, lift one foot and then the other, and you push the ground away. And that's it. So that's our little practice, giving you some upper body strengthening, a little bit of core strengthening, a little bit of glute activation there as well, a little bit of hip opening, and then we worked in a couple different kind of intro inversions. So I hope it helped. Please let me know what you think. I read every comment on YouTube. So if there is a question you have, if you want some help with something, if you want to work with me one-to-one in personal training, I offer that. If you have a request for a specific video in the future, I'm trying to film every week, so I'd be happy to do that for you. Just let me know what you need because I'd love to get it to you if I can. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week here on the Yoga by Candace YouTube channel.